Welcome back to my rubber heart. Today we are diving deep into the connection between climate change and natural rubber production, looking at how shifting climatic patterns have impacted the Hevea brasiliensis, the tree that provides the world's natural rubber, how this affects global supply and prices, and ultimately how it impacts the everyday consumer. To really understand how climate change is affecting rubber, we first need to look at the bigger picture, how climate change has evolved over the past several hundred years and how it is manifesting today. Climate records show that for most of the pre-industrial era, the Earth's climate remained relatively stable, with minor fluctuations in temperature. But with the onset of the Industrial Revolution, the widespread burning of fossil fuels began introducing vast amounts of carbon dioxide, methane, and other greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. Since the late 19th century, the global average temperature has increased by over 1.1 degrees Celsius or 2 degrees Fahrenheit, and the past decade has been the warmest on record. The effects of this warming are not uniform. Certain regions experience prolonged droughts, while others face record-breaking rainfall and flooding. The increase in frequency and intensity of extreme weather events is one of the most devastating consequences for agriculture, and rubber plantations are no exception. The Hevea brasiliensis tree thrives in hot, humid, and stable climates, conditions that have historically been found in Southeast Asia, South America, and parts of Africa. While the rubber tree originates from the Amazon rainforest, commercial cultivation was largely shifted to Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, Malaysia, China, and India after disease outbreaks in South America made large-scale rubber farming unsustainable there. These regions provide the warm temperature and high rainfall that rubber trees need to produce latex. But climate change is disrupting this balance, creating a ripple effect across the entire rubber industry. Thailand, which is the world's largest producer of natural rubber, has been hit hard by extreme weather events. In recent years, prolonged droughts have stressed rubber plantations, reducing latex yield. High temperatures prolong the wintering season, meaning trees take longer to recover and begin producing latex again. When the drought ends, they are often replaced by flooding and heavy monsoon rains, which not only drown rubber trees but also disrupt harvesting and transportation. These weather extremes make it more difficult for farmers to maintain a steady and predictable supply of latex, which is crucial for stabilizing rubber prices. China, particularly the province of Hainan, has also felt the effects of climate change. The region, which is home to much of China's domestic rubber production, has been impacted by increasingly intense typhoons. Typhoon Yagi, for example, destroyed over 16,000 hectares of rubber trees, reducing production and forcing China to rely more heavily on imported natural rubber. This kind of extreme weather doesn't just cause short-term supply disruptions. It can take years for new rubber trees to mature and replace those that were lost. Malaysia, once one of the world's leading rubber producers, has also struggled with unpredictable weather patterns. Floods have disrupted tapping operations, and changing rainfall cycles have affected the yield of latex per tree. Similarly, in Vietnam, rubber production has become increasingly vulnerable to tropical storms and inconsistent rainfall. In all of these cases, the result is the same: fewer rubber trees producing latex, which means less raw material is available for global markets. When supply is disrupted, prices inevitably rise. In 2024, natural rubber prices soared by over 50%, reaching a 30-year high due to severe weather conditions affecting Thai and Chinese plantations. Droughts, floods, and storms reduced output, and because demand for rubber remains high, the cost of raw materials skyrocketed. The global market depends on consistent rubber production, but when unpredictable climate events disrupt the supply chain, manufacturers and suppliers have no choice but to pay more for natural rubber. The price increase doesn't just affect rubber manufacturers. it trickles down to industries that rely heavily on rubber-based products. One of the biggest sectors impacted is the tire industry, which accounts for about 70% of global natural rubber consumption. When rubber prices rise, tire manufacturers must absorb higher material costs. This often translates to higher prices for consumers, whether they are buying replacement tires for their cars, trucks, or motorcycles. But the impact goes beyond just tires. Medical supplies, industrial belts, hoses, gaskets, footwear, and even everyday household items like gloves and elastic bands all rely on natural rubber. When rubber prices spike, the cost of production rises for all of these goods, and companies either pass those costs on to consumers or reduce production, leading to shortages. For the end consumer, this means higher costs for essential goods, especially in industries where synthetic rubber alternatives cannot fully replace natural rubber. Logistics and transportation industries also face rising costs because vehicles need rubber parts to function efficiently. Even food prices can be affected as agricultural equipment and transport rely on rubber-based components. The connection between climate change and the price of natural rubber is clear. As extreme weather events disrupt rubber production, supply shortages drive up costs, affecting manufacturers, industries, and consumers worldwide. This highlights the urgent need for climate adaptation strategies in rubber farming. Efforts to develop drought-resistant and flood-tolerant rubber trees varieties, improve water management system, and adopt more sustainable plantation practices are crucial to stabilizing the industry in the face of a rapidly changing climate. As climate change accelerates, the rubber industry must evolve to withstand these challenges. The question isn't just how rubber plantations will adapt, but also how global supply chains, manufacturers, and consumers will adjust to a world where natural rubber might become a scarcer and more expensive resource. Thanks for tuning into my rubber heart. If you found this episode insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Let me know in the comments. Do you think the industry is doing enough to address the challenges of climate change? Or should more be done to ensure the sustainability of natural rubber production? See you next time. Until then, stay elastic and stay curious.